Parents of kids who are struggling, don't be afraid to talk about it, because I noticed a lot of people were afraid to talk to me because they didn't want to be like me. I don't want to be the mother of a child who's gone. Well, talking to me isn't going to make that happen or not. So talk to me, because you just might learn something, and then you can maybe use that. So my mom abandoned my brother and I. And not having your mom, the foundation of love is a little bit hard to get a hold of. I was 4, my brother was 7. And you, like it or not, you kind of spend your life wondering, maybe you're my mom. And so most of my life was about trying to love everybody and spread more love, and trying to bring hope to other people that no matter what happens to you, you can keep going. And but my father, who was my only parent, unfortunately married a really mean person, and he and her became alcoholics. And so you spend a lot of time with yourself. I wrote a lot. I did a lot of art. I sang to myself a lot. I taught myself to play the guitar and comfort myself, because you didn't have a mom. Your dad was alcoholic or beating you. But hope was a tangible thing. I would look out my window and say, there has to be something better than this. So I left on my 18th birthday, destined to have a better experience. But before I left, my grandfather had come to visit. And he said, don't let anyone take from you, what your path is ahead of you. You have a whole life ahead of you. It's like, this seems like my whole life so far, but he was right. And I left on my 18th birthday. Not surprisingly, got married right away and had a baby boy right away. And so Dusty was my pal, my buddy. And unfortunately, I picked someone very much like my parents. So had a little girl shortly thereafter, and then decided that that was not a good choice. I'm still on the path to something better. So, we got divorced, and I kept trying to find that better path. But really, Dusty and Kristen, I often say, they kind of gave me the path, and pretty much everything was about making their life as delightful as it could be, better than what I had. And I went back to college, and I kept working at it. And Dusty was, we were just best of friends. I was only 19 when he was born, so we were just best of friends. And he was going to college, I was going to college. And I was like, I'm gonna do something different. And then I got my degree as in master's in public administration, and got my job in government, where my dad said I went to the dark side, but really I wanted to make it better. And then Dusty was there the day I was appointed city manager, and we just had that look like, see, no matter what, never give up. And he had trouble coping with, life was a little bit harder than he thought. I would give speeches about people, about never giving up. And I would always end that with pictures of the kids. The last time I gave that speech was in April of 2013. And both Dusty and Kristen, my kids, just had their baby. So there's a picture of the babies. And only a few weeks later, he decided that it was too hard for him to go on with life. I remember talking to him a couple of times. Like, it's not too hard. I've had a hard life. It's not too hard. You can go on. And hard times are for everyone. I've told that to people my whole life. Like, who doesn't get out of this deal without some hard stuff? So I struggled with, is what I've said my whole life still true? It's hard to think that my whole life has been about never giving up and finding love and finding peace, and that the enduring qualities of love, that it really, really is a tangible thing. So when he died, I spent probably a year kind of yelling at the trees and going for walks and saying, is that true? It's my whole self. It turned out to be true, that you don't give up. Love does endure. I love him, he loves me, he's still here with me. But I also think of it as a path towards that your life isn't defined by anything that happens to you, but your whole life is defined by everything that happens and everything you do, and that you can reach back and help someone else to keep going. His death was kind of a re-examination of my whole life, that, gosh, you don't think you can survive that, but you can survive anything. And you will survive it. And you can find happy days again, and you can paint again, and you can find joy again, and you can find love, and the love stays with you, and he's still with me, and all of that is still true. It's a long journey, but it's still true. And I just never let go of hope, because hope is the single most important thing that I survived my whole life. So I don't know that I always felt it after he died, but I knew eventually I would. There are people who have survived, parents who have survived losing their kids, and you can find happiness again. They're always with you. You're always going to miss them. Every event, every gathering, to acknowledge where they are. I ask them how they're feeling. I want them to tell me, and I try to create a safe place for them to do that. Let's just know that no matter what you're struggling with, someone can reach back and help you and just stand alongside you. And so I encourage everyone to just talk about what's going on. Summit County with Building Hope has done such a good job of really talking about it so much that people aren't surprised to hear the conversation. Whereas my son, he felt weird. I just have all these emotional problems and there's nobody else who does. He's out there surfing with all his surfing friends and he felt unusual. Today, I don't think people do feel as that they're unusual. We have a really significant increase in the numbers. So people around them, there's more and more people who have been affected by people who make this decision, and therefore they're speaking up. So I do think it's easier. Certainly this effort to try to bring hope to others is going to do that people can say, I'm not alone.